September. Reggie Squirrel. Autumn had arrived, and it was Reggie Squirrel's 7th birthday. Reggie woke up early and set off excitedly to visit the stag beetle. He knocked loudly on Stanley's door, but no one answered. Berry and Balthazar's houses were empty too.
No one's at home. Who can I celebrate my birthday with?
He sobbed to himself.
Hi there, happy birthday,
shouted Harry Hedgehog. Your friends told me to take you for a ride while they prepare your present.
So that's why no one's at home,
Reggie said, smiling again. He sat in the hedgehog cart and they set off. In the meantime, the centipede busily raked the leaves up and the woodworms wriggled about in them.
That's enough of that. I need to clear the leaves from the path,
the centipede said.
You could pick the litter up because we should look after nature. Okay, we'll help,
the woodworms whistled. Then they saw Harry Hedgehog and Reggie Squirrel, and they waved at the birthday boy when the hedgehog cart passed them. It was the afternoon by the time they got back to Reggie Squirrel's home.
Happy birthday!
All the forest friends shouted with glee. Reggie Squirrel saw that the pals had bandaged the oak tree.
You've made my tree better,
Reggie said with a tear in his eye.
Hooray for Reggie Squirrel!
Shouted a band of squeaky little voices, and the fireflies appeared high up above.
We've made you 7 lanterns for your 7th birthday. They're beautiful,
said Reggie, clapping his paws together. At that point, Berry and Dolly handed the hazelnut cake they had made to Reggie. And while they were eating, Zephyr made an announcement.
A 7th birthday is an important thing because 7 is a special number. There are 7 colours in the rainbow. A dragon has 7 heads, and there are 7 days in a week. There are 7 dwarfs in the story about Snow White, and there are 7 notes on a musical scale. You still haven't seen your main present,
said the little flower beetle as he hopped around.
Have you found the hot air balloon?
Reggie asked with a surprised smile.
We found it and fixed it, said a proud Berry. Come on, we'll take you for a flight.
Hooray! Reggie Squirrel cried, and he hopped happily into the balloon's basket. They flew high above the tiny houses and had a super view of the forest from the sky. Then the stars appeared, and Reggie stared in delight at the twinkling night sky.
It's been a busy day, hasn't it?
asked Dolly.
Yes, it's been a busy and brilliant birthday,
Reggie Squirrel agreed with a grin.
Good night,
the little friends shouted, and the squirrel climbed sleepily back into his house, cuddled up in his little bed, and soon fell fast asleep.
The rainbow. It was a rainy summer day. Dolly the ladybird and Berry the snail sat sadly underneath a giant leaf. Then the sun came out and the sky was blue again, but the shower didn't stop, and soon a colourful rainbow stretched across the sky. "It's beautiful," they shouted. Berry thought it would be a good idea to climb up the rainbow and slide down on the other side, but his first try didn't work. "I think I'll try from the other side," he said. "Trust me, you can't climb a rainbow," Dolly said to the excited snail. But then Berry came up with a new plan. "I'll use a ladder." "Oh, Berry, I don't think it's a good idea," Dolly said anxiously. Dolly was right, and Berry was angry. Dolly tried to distract her friend. "Come and play something else." But Berry still didn't give up. "Look, Dolly, I'm sure I can jump on top of it from here." But that idea didn't work either. Dolly ran over to Berry. "Are you all right?" she asked. "I'm fine," Berry sulked. Berry was very sad, and Dolly tried everything to cheer him up. "I got you some flowers," she said kindly. But Berry couldn't be comforted. Then the rain dried up and the rainbow disappeared. They walked home hand in hand, and Dolly said nice things to the little snail. "Chin up, Berry. It's your birthday the day after tomorrow, and I'm sure you'll get some super presents." Dolly had a great idea when she got home. "I'll make a rainbow slide for Berry's birthday," she said to herself. "Then his dream can come true, and he can slide down a rainbow." Balthazar the bee and Flutter the butterfly helped her. Balthazar, Dolly and Flutter painted the slide with colourful paint, wrapped it in yellow paper and tied it up with a blue ribbon. The three friends even baked a cake for Berry. When the time came, Balthazar and Flutter took Berry to Dolly's house, where everything was ready for the birthday party.
"Let's give him his presents,"
yelled Balthazar, and Dolly gave Berry the chocolate cake. "A real rainbow! A rainbow slide! Can I try the slide?" "Sure you can," Dolly replied. Berry liked the rainbow slide very much. He slid on it again and again. Flutter and Balthazar were so happy they started to dance. "You know, Dolly," said Berry, "it really is a nice present. Thank you." Lots of friends joined in the birthday celebrations. There was Leapy the grasshopper, Eddie the potato beetle, Zephyr the dragonfly, and even Stanley the stag beetle came. The little snail let everybody try his new slide. Berry, Dolly and their friends played on the slide until it got dark. Berry went to bed very happy that day. "What a wonderful birthday I've had," he sighed with a smile. Harry Hedgehog's birthday. One summer morning, Berry the snail, Dolly the ladybird and their forest friends were playing in the meadow. They were taking turns on the leaf swing. "It must be so much fun to play on that swing. It's a shame I'm too heavy for it," Harry Hedgehog sighed. His friends didn't know what to say. "It's Harry Hedgehog's 10th birthday next week," the ladybird said. "He'll be 10 years old," the little snail nodded. "What do you think he'd like for his birthday?"
"I know!"
Balthazar exclaimed and jumped to his feet.
"A swing!"
"That's a super idea! Let's make a big swing for Harry," Dolly said enthusiastically. The little friends got to work immediately. They brought a saw, a hammer, nails and screws and searched for some strong branches. They tied the swing to thick wooden poles with very strong string. When the swing was ready, they all went to Balthazar's house to bake a cake. They cracked eggs and stirred the butter. The mixer whirred away and wooden spoons clattered in bowls. The little bee's kitchen was soon filled with delicious smells. They decorated the cake all over with cherries, raisins and walnuts. "Let's put candles on it," Flutter said. "Yes, 10 candles," Dolly nodded.
Let's write a letter to Harry, Berry said. Dear Harry, please come to Balthazar's house at lunchtime. We'll all see you there. Can you take it to Harry, please? Berry asked.
"But don't say a word about the cake and the swing," Dolly shouted after him. Balthazar and Stanley put the cake on a round table and carried it out of the house. The little ants were playing hide and seek, and suddenly the smallest ant ran right into the table.
You tipped the table over! The cake's ruined!
Balthazar moaned. "The cake! What are we going to do now?" Dolly sobbed.
Harry Hedgehog will be here any minute and he won't have a cake,
Berry said sadly. The little ants felt very sorry for what they'd done, but one of them had an idea. "Let's gather lots of fruit and berries and build a big pile. It'll be almost like a cake, won't it?" "That's a good idea," Stanley said. "I know Harry loves fruit." Berry, Dolly, Balthazar, Stanley and the little ants began to gather fruit in the forest. Eddie the potato beetle, Zephyr the dragonfly and Rosita the rose beetle helped them too. They soon had a very big pile indeed. Stanley stuck 10 candles on top of the fruit, just seconds before Bubble arrived with Harry Hedgehog. "Happy birthday, Harry!" they all shouted. "Wow, look at all that delicious fruit, my favourite. Thank you very much," the hedgehog exclaimed. "We've got a surprise for you," Dolly said, and they led Harry to the swing. Harry was very surprised. "What a big swing! Can I use it?" he asked cheerfully.
Yes, we built it for you, Berry replied.
"Hooray! Now I can swing too! Thank you so much," Harry said thankfully. Then they stood around the fruit pile and began to eat. They ate and ate until nearly all the fruit was gone. They stuck the leftover apples and pears on Harry's spikes, and he took them home to his mossy house. Harry went to bed with a happy smile and looked forward to tomorrow, when he'd swing with his friends again. The Canary Chicks. One day, Christopher the Canary met Chloe and they fell in love. Chloe lived in an oak tree not far away from Dolly's house. The new couple built a nest on the most beautiful branch of the tree. Berry and Dolly watched them building their nest from the ground. "Look, Chloe's been sitting on the nest for days. Do you think she could be sick?" the little snail asked. He was worried. "No, Berry, I'm sure she's going to lay eggs and they'll hatch into canary chicks," Dolly told him enthusiastically. "Eggs? Chicks?" Berry was confused. "Of course. Chloe will lay the eggs in the nest and she'll keep them warm until they hatch," the ladybird said. A few days later, Chloe stood up and as she was arranging things in the nest, Berry noticed 3 tiny eggs. "3! There'll be 3 chicks," he said to Dolly cheerfully. One morning they heard tweeting coming from the oak tree. "Hooray! The chicks have hatched!" Dolly exclaimed. and gave Berry a big hug. "Can we take a look at them?" Dolly asked Christopher excitedly. "Of course you can, but please be careful. They're still very tiny," the proud daddy replied. Christopher let Berry and Dolly hop on his back and he flew them up to the nest. "They're so cute," Dolly whispered. The snail and the ladybird carefully patted the baby canaries. The little birds grew very quickly and they were soon ready for flying lessons. Chloe was their teacher and they got better day by day. "We've got to go and get some food. Be good," Christopher told the chicks one morning. "And don't even think about flying out of the nest without us. You're still very small and you can only fly with us," Chloe added. But the smallest chick was rather naughty. "Nonsense! I'm very good at flying. I'm going to try it on my own," he said and jumped out of the nest. "You're not allowed! You're not allowed!" tweeted the other two, but they couldn't stop him. The two chicks were hopping nervously around the nest when their parents arrived back. "He flew off! Our little brother flew off!" they cried. "Oh dear, but he's too small. He could be in all kinds of trouble," Chloe cried. Berry and Dolly heard all the fuss and set out to find the naughty chick. They looked for him everywhere. On the hill, in the mountains, by the lake, in the forest and in the meadow. But he was nowhere to be found. It was getting dark. "How are we going to find him when it gets dark?" Chloe asked, and she started to sob. But then little lights appeared in the sky. The fireflies had come to help them. "We can make light. We'll help you find him," they said. "There he is! There he is in the bush!" Berry shouted suddenly, and they all ran over. The little canary had fallen asleep in the bush. He was exhausted and shivering. Chloe took him in her wings and hugged him happily. "There you are. You should always do as you're told," Christopher said. Chloe flew back to the nest with her chick on her back, and the fireflies danced around them like stars in the sky. The canary family was soon back together again. "Good night, little chicks," Chloe whispered happily as she kept them warm under her wings.